you've ever wondered, how do I start a contractor business? Well, you've come to the right place. Over the next few minutes, we're going to go through and we're going to talk about how you outline this and how do you get started with it. As entrepreneurs and business owners, we know that if we have a clear plan, anything becomes possible. And if you can have a clear plan, a clear process to create that plan, and a way to create clarity with your partner or spouse, you can drive to amazing heights. So when it comes to starting a contracting business, a lot of different things you can do, a lot of different ways to go at it. But the first thing that you always need to start with is your motivations. And we're going to go through 4 areas today. We're going to talk about what are your motivations? Why are you doing this? What does amazing look like? Second is, what is it you do better than anybody else? Defining that clarity, which will help drive to the direction of where you want to go. Third, how do you create a team of advisors, a trusted group of people that can help you with the business mechanics? Just as people come to you as a contractor, they need help. How can you go to people that you trust that can help you build your business? And then lastly, how can you start to build a roadmap? So I've started my first of 16 companies when I was 19. I've bought them, built them, sold them, wrecked a couple. I have helped hundreds and hundreds of business owners over the last 30 years all over the world grow businesses from mid-sized companies, small companies, all the way up to billion-dollar market caps. But for me, the most important thing with any of this, when you're starting a business, is clearly defining your motivations. And one of the things I like to talk about is, if you currently are in a position and it's just like, yeah, man, I hate my boss. I like what I do, but I hate my boss. Okay, I'm going to challenge you actually in that particular case. Maybe starting a business isn't the right thing for you. Maybe you just got a shitty boss. You need to go someplace else to work. But if you're like, yeah, I like what I do, but I hate all this paperwork, and then I have to do this other stuff, and I have this compliance things. I was like, okay, some of those things are going to be the cornerstones of what's needed if you're starting a business in a small practice. Now, you may end up having to do more of that if you own your own business. So being clear on what are the things you like and what you don't like within the business. And are those things that are going to be attributes, are they going to be amplified? Or are they going to be reduced if you own your own business? Now, the other piece of this, and motivation, is coming down to what is it you want this life to look like? What does you want your life to look like as a business owner? Because a lot of times, business can be a very vicious mistress. Take all your time, all your money, and not give you a lot of it back. But if you decide, no, I want to be able to go to every one of my daughter's ballet practice, or I want to make sure that I have 3 hours a day to do my exercise, or I want to take 2 months off a year and do adventure travel. That's my thing. I like doing that. You can do these things, but it's going to be important for you to define what that amazing life looks like early, and then you can start to incorporate and build your business around that. Now, the other part of this is being clear on your own motivations. Is if you happen to be involved in a relationship with a partner or spouse, business and finances can be one of the most stressful things involved in any sort of relationship. And making sure that you're clear on your motivations and that you communicate those well with your partner is going to empower you then to help create and find champions and create a champion in your partner, not a saboteur. I promise if you keep it all to yourself and you just spring it on your partner and say, yeah, you know what, honey, I quit my job today and I just committed to $200,000 in debt and I'm going to go start a business. Not going to go well. I've seen that multiple times. But if you say, hey, here's my motivations, this is what I'm looking at doing and I'm excited about it and here's why. And then help them understand, and this is the process I'm going through, to check it out and vet it and see if it's going to be a good fit. Now, keep this in mind. This is really exciting because it has never, ever been easier to start your own business. And you can do it very, very, very safely. You can research it, you can vet it, you can check it all the way through before you ever actually pull the trigger on it. And you don't have to spend a lot of money. That's a little secret with that we'll talk a little bit more about in the end. So the other piece with this is you can go to our site, theaspiringsolopreneur.com. It's one of our books. There is a tool there that you can take. It takes about 6 minutes, called the balance wheel. And it'll help you define where you are today And then it'll help you also to start visualizing where do you want to be and what would amazing look like. If you had an amazing business in a year, what would all of the different pieces in that puzzle, the balance wheel, what would those look like? What would success be? And if you can have that in your head, that's the start of being a very successful business, is being able to visualize where you want to go. So the next step, once we decide where we want to go, what amazing looks like, and it doesn't have to be crystal clear, but it starts to come together on what you want, is helping to define what is it you do better than anybody else. So if you've been running commercial and you're running the commercial plumbing divisions on a Kiewit or a big company or Cruise or something like that, fair enough. But if you want to go and now start doing high-end custom homes, maybe that fits, maybe it doesn't. It may be a different skill set. So I'd love to steal from the hippie singer Jerry Garcia. He had a quote that I love, and I paraphrase it. It says something along the lines of, the goal isn't to be the best at what you do. The goal is to be the only one who does what you do. And if you can figure out what is a niche that you do better than anybody else, that could be extraordinary. So if you happen to be, a plumbing GC, or not the GC, but you're the plumbing super for big corporate, then maybe it's something that you can go out and how could you potentially do that? Or maybe you hate doing that in general and you want to go into something else, but boy, I need to figure out how to have a little bit more high touch with uppity customers, or who knows what it is. But it's as you start to define what is it you're unique at. And there's different ways, and we talk about this in some of the other videos on this channel, that help people say, okay, whoa. This is what I'm really good with customers. I'm really good with managing the projects. I can handle those things, and the detailed stuff, the really good, crazy detailed stuff is great. I live at 10,000 feet in Colorado, not too far from Vail and Aspen. And I have a friend, a neighbor up here, who is an exceptional trim carpenter. And he builds really high-end custom cabinetry for $20 million homes. He's the guy that gets called for that. And he can do it from his garage, makes great money, kind of works when he wants, kind of doesn't when he doesn't. He's been able to figure out what works for him, and then how he's been able to fit in that niche and where it's going to be, and then who's going to appreciate it. Now, if you don't know, and it's like, man, I'm not really sure. Okay, you can start asking questions. And there's a whole variety of ways you can do this. You can actually go to competitors, and they say, well, I'm not talking to anybody here, I'll find out. Okay, call, if you're in Naples, Florida, call somebody in Malibu, California. You can call people in all sorts of other places and say, hey, these are some of the skills. Is there any type of job you're looking for, or what works for you or what doesn't? What size is your business? What are those different areas? I just did a video for excavation, and in that particular case, for the excavators, there's a whole bunch of different tools and different ways that you can be in that. Maybe you end up saying, I can be a sub for people in certain areas, and I can be your heavy hitter that comes in and is your cleanup guy, or who knows what it is. But start exploring and seeing what's available. And again, haven't spent any money, haven't pulled the trigger, haven't done anything, you're just starting to smoke this out. So once you've defined the motivations and what success looks like, where you want to go, and you start clarifying what is it you're great at and what do you really want to do, what does your offering look like, you can do about a half bake, get it close, start talking to people. It helps pull that idea together. The next thing is you're going to have to start looking into the mechanics of creating the business itself. And for some people, this gets really scary and spooky. And I like to say, with a lot of the construction folks I've worked with, more often than not, the construction guys and gals, wicked smart, but not necessarily the most sophisticated. All love and respect, not trying to pick a fight with anybody. But when it comes to, a lot of times, if somebody's used to working with their hands, for them to go sit down with the accountant or the attorney or the banker, there's a certain amount of intimidation. And this is something I'm going to really encourage you to try and challenge and get over. Because just because you may not speak their language doesn't mean that you don't have a right to sit at the table, and you're actually hiring these people to work for you. So you're interviewing them. And if you end up with a banker or an accountant or attorney who's got sort of that arrogant attitude, yes, well, hey, thank you very much for your time, I'm moving on. But the most important thing you can learn is, is to say, I don't understand that. What does that mean? What is a P&L? What is the difference between an AR and AP? I don't know those words. Well, AR is the money people owe you. AP, the money you owe out. Accounts receivable and accounts payable. But helping understand those and being willing to ask those questions, because when you create a good team of advisors, they're going to help educate you. And the reality is they're business owners too. Or they're accountable for creating a certain amount of business development and bringing new people in. And if they're not willing to invest at least 30 minutes to an hour of their time, you can go in and say, look, I'm exploring looking at doing this. What are the things I need to be aware of? A good accountant will help you start with, well, this is the kind of structure, this is how you buy the equipment, or you should rent, lease or lease the equipment. Here's an insurance person who specializes in construction companies that can help you with this. And some of the other videos on these channels really help people focus on how do you find the right accountants, the right bankers, the right attorneys that can help you, because they're not all equal, they're different. Just like saying all construction guys are saying, it's not. But with this, once you start doing this and realize, no, these cats work for me. All right, I don't understand what that word means. What does that mean? Help me understand that. But it allows you, again, without cost, to start figuring out what are the things that I need to be aware of. You know, an attorney, like, yeah, well, you could be a subchapter S corporation, you could be a C corporation, you could be a sole proprietorship. Here's the benefits why you should do this or do that in each one. They're easy to do. Don't get intimidated. Sometimes like, well, this is very expensive and I'm very important. Well, yeah, but I'm the one who's writing the checks, so if I don't feel very important about this, then I need to find somebody I can dance with. But the other thing is that they're also going to help introduce you to other people who can help, who can also start smoking out other questions. Yeah, what do you know about your insurance? Well, what insurance do I need? Well, you're probably going to need workman's comp, you're going to need liability, you may need some E&O, error and omission. What are the different things? And this is like, but you know what? And the accountant will go, probably what you need, but I don't know, I'm not an expert in that. But I do know somebody who is, and they'll give a referral. And this way you can start building everything and start asking all these questions. And what you're doing when you do this, and you start documenting these things and listing these things out and start smoking out, this is what I'm good at and these are my motivations, is you're actually creating a beautiful full business plan or roadmap that's going to help you clarify this is what it is. This is where I want to go, this is how I want to do it, this is where we're going. And as you start to transition and build into those things, oh my God, you're going to get to a point where it's just like, I got this. I understand this. Or, whew, man, I just dodged a bullet. I could have wandered into this and gone bankrupt. I've literally built hundreds and hundreds of business plans. We talk again on this channel on other ones. But it'll help you to clarify, is this going to be successful? And maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But maybe it's a different iteration of what you're currently doing, and you adjust and you tweak and you come back and define what it is. Until you get to that point where it's just like, you know what, baby, this is a no-brainer, I'm in. We're gonna make this and it's gonna be gorgeous, it's gonna work great. When you can do that confidently and know you're off to the races, you win. So with this, we offer an entire course, self-guided. We have group sessions if you have questions, but it's all videos, it's tools all the way through to help you step by step by step all the way through with this. If you have interest in that, we'd love to hear from you at aspiringsolopreneur.com. But more than anything, please check out some of the other videos on this channel. If you subscribe to this, and if you got questions or comments, hey, please reach out. More than happy. It lights us up when we can help you be successful. So just keep this in mind. You got this. Keep smiling.